What's up guys, this is Heist, and today we're coming at you with another video from the Railroads Offline series that I filmed at the Colorado Railroad Museum at my last visit to the museum. And again, special thanks to the Colorado Railroad Museum for letting me film my adventures while out there volunteering. More exciting, fun stuff to come on that in the future. Today's video is going to be taking a look into switching operations, and specifically switching around the museum's turntable, which is always really interesting. If you've ever seen those puzzle games called Rush Hour, where you can only move one car at a time or whatever, that can be a bit how switching at the museum turntable works. It's a unique puzzle that we have to solve in order to build trains pretty frequently. And so in today's video, we're actually going to build the passenger train that Rio Grande Southern number 20 pulled during the Colorado Crossings event in early May. And most of the video is going to be from my perspective as Brakeman. I was in charge of setting up the moves where the cars needed to go and making sure that they got guided to their final destination in a safe manner. And so this is really our first look at a Brakeman's perspective, or a switching 101, if you will.
First, spin it, put it on, then this, which we have to spin this one too.
Lordy, okay. There's several hand signals that you'll need to know to understand what's going on in the video. The come towards me hand signal, which is you see someone with one or both hands gesturing like this, it means bring the train towards me. It has an opposite, which is the go away from me, which is just a reverse of the direction of the hands. You have the stop signal, which is cutting the track in half, for lack of a better term. All of these hand signals can be done with either the hand facing away from the track, or both hands, just depending on context. And then as well, there is over the head, couplers made, give it a stretch, and that means that, okay, we have coupled, we need to make sure that all the pins dropped and everything's actually going to maintain that coupling, so you'll give them one of these.
Come on, Janney's. Try it. No. Move it this way. Huh?
Other hand signals you'll see include pointing in between. Everyone seems to have a slightly different take on this, and a lot of different railroads actually have different hand signals in the rule book for it. But in the case of what we do, it's either both hands pointing, hey, can I go in between, or a single point, which you'll see me do all the time, because I'm kind of being sassy, going, yeah, hey, I need to go in there and do something. Can you see me? Yeah. Big railroads like the BNSF will have one hand raised, one hand pointed in. There's other different signals where people will like kind of wind up and then toss their hand in, and etc. But they all mean the same thing of, hey, I need to get in between the equipment that you're attached to. Are you set and centered and you're not going to move? And then the engineer will give a corresponding back, like, yes, you can go in, or you're good, or whatever, depending on the engineer. And then, you know, you can go in between the cars. That's the way that you maintain safety when you've got to go in, realign a coupler, or get an air hose or something like that.
That coupler moves really easy. Did you service it? Go for it. There we go. All right. Not any other madness on this, is there?
Now, the locomotive that we're using to make these switching moves is one that we call Peewee. It is the Golden City in San Juan, which is the museum's railroad number 3. It is a gas mechanical switcher that we'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later.
Yeah, give it a 180 pretty much.
So the turntables are always interesting, and the fact that we have to switch around a turntable is kind of not necessarily unique, but pretty uncommon. It's just the way that things are set up around the museum, and then using the roundhouse both as a car shop and a locomotive shop. So it poses unique challenges, as we see here. But the turntable itself is a 74-foot, 55-ton bridge that got converted into a turntable. It's got 4 rails. The inner 2 rails are 3-foot narrow gauge. The outer 2 rails are standard gauge, 56.5 inches. And then there are locks on either end with a corresponding target that says white, yes, you are locked, or red, no, you're not, as you're approaching the table. And you always lock the end of the table that you are getting on or off. This particular turntable is known as an Armstrong-style turntable, where there's just a big wooden stick that sticks off the end of the turntable, and that's what you push to actually rotate the trains. And so it's really critical that you balance the equipment very well in the center of the turntable, and you can actually see it'll pivot maybe up to a couple inches up and down on a kind of a seesaw operation, and when you're balanced it'll just kind of nicely rock between it, and that way you don't have any friction forces from the wheels that hold up the turntable against the ring rail, and it's all balancing on that central pivot, and then all you're overcoming is the actual rotational inertia of whatever the equipment is. And you can push the table as one person. I've pushed it before by myself with 491 on the table, and that's 55 tons of turntable plus 150 tons of K37, and yeah, it sucks, but you can do it. So it's really a possible thing, and it's kind of surprising how easy it can be sometimes. A lot of guys will also mark the distance to a joint with their hands, either over the head this way or sideways this way, and let the engineer see, and then boom, then you come to a stop. Okay. Once I get that scooted over there, that's moved about the easiest I think I've ever seen one of those move.
You're right. I don't know what.
Yeah, probably grease, probably serviced.
It scares me.
All right, let's play Guess the Janney. So an interesting thing about these passenger cars is that they are equipped with the original style of Janney coupler. You've seen me in comments and on the channel before talking about how it's weird that people just call all American knuckles Janney, and I've come to realize that that is the way that a lot of the world refers to our couplers, because it was the first patent for like the truly knuckle style coupler. But there are many different types of knuckles, and the original Janneys pale in comparison to the modern type AAR type couplers that we have, the E types and the F types and etc. And the fact that these cars are all pretty much from 1880s, 1881-ish, and they still have that original style of coupler means that they're kind of a pain in the butt. Modern day couplers, you pull the cut lever, it raises a pin out the top or lowers it out the bottom and automatically kicks the actual knuckle fingers open, and you can visually see it, and it's very obvious what's happened. With the Janneys, the motion's all inside and the fingers don't kick open. And so you're either going to push in the lever or you're going to pull it out depending on what side it is. And as Dusty tells us in the video, the skinny sides are pull and the thick sides are push, and you can see the size of material used to make the loops of the lever. And so you either push or pull those to then release the coupler. And just the way that the mechanism's set up, they don't like to have the pins lock in place. They don't like to have the pins unlock. And so you'll see quite frequently you have to hit them harder, they have to be really well aligned straight, or sometimes they don't want to come apart, which you'll really see later in the video. But they're an utter pain in the butt. And so when people just call a standard AAR type coupler a Janney coupler, that's where the frustration comes with, because AAR type E's that are serviced and great, those are beautiful, super easy, use them all the time, no complaints. The original Janneys, they're a pain in the butt.
Nope. It's push?
Yeah. The heavy ones are always pushed.
Then try again.
This one just sticks.
I see. Well, I guess right.
The bars are always pushed.
The heavy bars are always pushed. Just add a little touch. You gotta do your sand bay, not salt bay.
Yeah.
Come on. Janney's. Stretch it. All good. In between.
I think they did get coupled in the V8.
Okay, I'll check it.
I'll have to use the coupler on this thing, because I don't think V8.
Okay.
So it'll be a pull for you.
Okay. Yep, small one. Pull. We're gonna spin this thing, so we gotta balance it just about right. Gotta get a different track though. Yep. I just realized you got a truck on your end. So we'll aim Peewee at consist, dump Peewee off, do the spin. Woohoo.
And so one of the things that we had to do while we were making these moves is we had to spin one of the cars around. And so in order to do that, you have to pull the car on with the Peewee, and then you have to get the car about centered, balanced, and you do that visually, then pull the locomotive off, and then hope that you did a good job of getting the weight about centered, spin the car around, bring the locomotive back on, and then spin it around again so that you could back it off and onto the train. And that's always an interesting move to make.
Well, not where Peewee sits?
Yeah. Up there. Yeah, Norm, could you chain it?
You guys are confusing me here.
We're confusing ourselves is the secret.
I'm like, this is some kind of a unique secret. Yes, you're not pushing it.
It'll work.
It'll work. Oh, so you're gonna push this around and
Yeah, we gotta spin it 180.
Meeting of the minds here.
Oh, come on, look at how nicely balanced that is. At least I got something right.
It wasn't that balanced.
It wasn't that. I've seen better too. It's hard to know if the yellow is the center of the table or is the brake cylinder the center of the car. It's close enough.
So you can't come on the turnbuckle?
Oh, the turnbuckle probably made more sense. I didn't look at that. But that's like a wood person thing.
Doesn't matter. Oh, that's right. I know. That's right. But you figured it out. Anyway.
V21 won't balance now because of the ice box.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, we just have to grab it.
That extra 100 pounds of wood's gonna do it for the 20-ton car, yeah? You good, Norm? The chain's over here now. Have him come back and balance. Chains out.
Ready?
Yep. We'll wait till the thing does the bounce. Or just before the bounce. Right there. Beautiful. And we unlock the lock on the other side and spin it. See me. Nice thing about having a magnetic GoPro cam is that the train cars are all posted out of metal somewhere.
You'll also see the occasional car count up from the head and away. And occasionally the half car count, cutting your body in half. And by the way, if you guys haven't seen, merch has become a thing. If you guys would like stuff with my logo on it or some of your very own ES&D merch, it's out there. There's a couple more hand signals you'll see. There's one that's very self-explanatory of, which means bump this darn thing, it is not behaving.
There we are. Janney's, man, every time. Yeah, Janney's on the other end, but we're knuckled into a locomotive downhill, so. Bye-bye. To B-21.
So these might be the first pictures taken of the B-21 outside of the roundhouse.
It's been outside once, but I don't know if anyone got any pictures.
So the consist that we're building up consists of 3 vintage passenger cars. The Denver and Rio Grande Western Coach 280, Coach 284, and then the Rio Grande Southern business car B21. This was actually the very first time that the B21 was coming out of the shop in this configuration. This is a car with a really storied history. It's had like 8 different names or numbers across the years on the Rio Grande Southern. And I believe the latest one was the B21, but Jeff will crucify me for getting it wrong later, so. If you guys would like to learn more about the car, the Colorado Railroad Museum actually has a big train tour video specific to it. It used to be known as the Rico. That's how it was set up previously at the museum, but it got repainted and made into the B21 for this event, which is really cool. The paintwork and the lettering came out spectacularly on the car. So it was really, really pretty and good to see this thing roll out.
Those doors came out nice on the icebox. Those look good. The whole thing looks good.
Wow.
So of course, because GoPros are GoPros and they don't last that long, my batteries ran out right before we got the last car on. So we don't get to watch the last coupling move, but as a little treat, because that did happen, we can at least watch the 20 run by with those cars. So you can see what the whole train looks like, and God, it sounds good. So while they were doing the test train with the 20 and getting things set for the weekend, we got assigned as switch crew to move out one more car that needed some work done in the roundhouse. We had taken the B21 out of stall 5, and we needed to now put the B8, another business car, in stall 5. It was going to be receiving some restoration work and some general maintenance. And one of the things that the car needed was its coupler service really bad, as you see as we mess with it. And I'll include the struggles that we went through in here because they were kind of funny. But yeah, that Janney coupler was not wanting to release at all. And it was a total chore, and really sums up the experience with Janney type couplers in general. And so with doing this switching movement, since Dusty was still with the 20 and the actual train, it was my turn to operate Peewee. And Peewee is our Plymouth gas mechanical switcher. It is a type DLB, and it weighs 8 tons. The frame on it is absolutely massive. That's where all the weight comes in. And it is powered by a 6-cylinder straight 6 US Army issue Hercules engine that has something like 70 horsepower and then like a gazillion thousand pound-feet of torque. It's in the couple hundred range. But this thing's basically a tractor on rails, and you'll see from the cab shots, it's actually a 4-speed manual locomotive. So there is a clutch, a shifter, a transfer case, and most what you're going to see me operating is actually the transfer case to go from forward to neutral to reverse, but it also has a 4-speed, so you can go in 4 speeds in either direction, and as well you have a handbrake to stop Peewee.
That's gonna be the push side. I just learned from Dusty, the thick ones are push, the skinny ones are pull. You may have to actively be pushing it.
And Peewee's a really interesting locomotive to run, and it's got a ton of torque to start. You don't really need to throttle it up at all to start. It will pull a train car behind it, 20 ton, 25 ton, 30 ton, whatever. You just leave the throttle at idle and just let the clutch out. And the clutch, it comes pretty high. It can be uncomfortable to run for a long time because you end up having your knee bent all crazy as the clutch comes up. But it's a cool little engine. It's a lot of fun to run.
And this is why Janney Couplers are bad.
So that's going to be everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little look at switching around the museum turntable on some really basic stuff as far as what hand signals do and how we actually put the train together. Let me know what you guys would like to see more from the ground as far as brakeman or conductor stuff. It'd be fun to show some more of that stuff off. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're new here, and then also click the little bell if you want to know when I'm uploading stuff. And then, of course, thank you so much to the ES&D brakemen and conductors, our train crew, who help support the channel monetarily. You can join the channel as a member of the ES&D Train Crew, which really helps me out, and I really genuinely do appreciate every single one of those people. It helps me do more videos like this, and as well it gives you guys some great benefits and a lot of fun stuff for the live streams and extra content, seeing what's coming up ahead, and then extra videos if you're a conductor. So it's a lot of fun to interact with those people and see what's coming up. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch y'all next time.